Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Curvi Yogi. I am Jakita, and today we are going to go through a 20-minute Yin Yoga flow. And Yin Yoga is a slower paced, more introspective practice where we hold poses for a longer period of time, usually around 4 to 5 minutes, depending on what the pose is and how we feel in it. But for the sake of this 20-minute practice, we are going to hold each pose for about 2 minutes. So what you'll need today is yourself, your mat, and you'll need 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can grab 2 small boxes or 2 thick hardcover books. So grab those things and we will get started. So we're going to start seated, and you can ground your hips into the mat. And the way I like to do that is to just kind of rock from side to side so that my hips are firmly planted. And then hands can rest on your knees. And sit tall in the spine and reaching all the way up through the crown of the head. And relax the shoulders. We're going to start with 5 deep breaths, inhaling through the nose, exhaling out of the mouth. So let's inhale together. Open the mouth and exhale. Again, inhale. Open the mouth and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One last time, inhale. And exhale. And then from here, we're going to come into a seated wide stance with our legs out wide. And you can bring them out as wide as comfortable. So having the heels on the mat and the toes can be reaching up towards the ceiling. We're going to start with a little bit of a straddle. So if you can bring them out wider, you can. And I'll give you 2 options here. First option, you can have just having the arms straight and leaning forward. This is going to be your wide forward fold, your straddle. Or you can bring your forearms down if that feels good. Just know that the further you come down towards the mat, you'll feel the release in the lower back, and you'll also start to feel the calf and the hamstrings start to stretch a little bit. And know that as we go through this and as we hold this pose, you can always move between the 2. But I'll also give you another option of bending the knees and placing the feet on the mat and then bringing the hands forward. So whichever works for you, you can do that in this moment. So I'm going to keep my arms straight and hands on the mat. And we'll be here for 2 minutes. So you may want to come back to that breath that we just practiced seated. Inhaling fully. Exhaling completely. And continue that breath here. Start to notice how it feels to be in this straddle. Do the calves feel tight today? Do the hamstrings feel tight today? How are the hips in this pose? How does the lower back feel? And as you practice, just remember to listen to your body. So if this doesn't feel good, just start to walk the hands back until you're in a position that you can hold. Or if it feels good and you want to try to go a little further, you can always walk the hands forward and stretch a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale. Just a few more breaths here. One full breath. And then start to walk the hands back as you lift the upper body up. And we're going to come into what's called Firelog pose, or a double pigeon pose. And we're going to start with that right leg. So you're going to bring the right leg in front of you. So think of having that leg at about a 45-degree angle. So knee comes straight out from the hip, and then keeping that foot flexed. And then just like Firelogs, we're going to stack that other leg on top of that one. So taking your left leg, putting the left foot on top of the right knee, and the left knee on top of the right foot. So you may notice that depending on your hip flexibility, you may notice that there's a little bit of space between the left knee and the right foot. If there's a significant amount of space, you can take one of your blocks and place it right underneath that left knee. And that's just going to fill that space for you, help you feel a little bit more comfortable in this pose. And so we're going to sit here. This is a big hip opener. And then sit tall. And if you want to add your arms into it, just opening the chest, opening the shoulders a little bit, bring your arms out to the side. And then you're going to take your right hand, bring it behind your back, and then take the left hand and bring it behind. And you can grab opposite elbows or just grab the forearms and sit tall. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And keep that breath going as we hold this pose. Notice how you feel in this pose. Notice how the hips start to feel as you sit here a little bit longer. Notice how the shoulders feel. Keeping the chest open, keeping the spine tall. And just notice how each pose feels as you sit just a little bit longer. Maybe you feel as if you're settling into it nicely. Maybe it becomes a little bit harder to sit into it, to get comfortable. That's okay. We're just noticing these observations along the way. Inhale and exhale. One more breath. Slowly release the arms from behind your back. You can release the block And then stretch out the legs. We're coming back to our wide straddle here. So keeping the legs out wide. We know where we're going with this. So sitting tall, bringing the hands in front of you, and you can have the option of bending the knees and placing the feet on the mat as well. And just walking the hands forward until you find that place where you're comfortable to remain here for the next 2 minutes. Coming back to your breath, inhaling fully, exhaling completely. Notice how this pose feels the second time around. Maybe it's a little bit easier than before. Maybe you're able to settle into this pose a little better than the first time. Sometimes it takes our bodies having that muscle memory to be able to achieve certain movements, certain poses. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Take one more full breath. Start to walk the hands back towards your body. As you sit the upper body up, this time we're doing Firelog on the opposite side. So bringing that left foot in front of you. Again, having the knee at a 90-degree angle, knee comes straight out from the hip, flexing that left foot. And then we're gonna stack the right leg right on top of that. Right foot on left knee. Right knee on top of the left foot. And again, if you want to place that block underneath, just to fill that space for you. Sit tall. Bring your arms out to your side. And then start to grab the forearms behind you and sit tall. Inhale. Exhale. Start to notice how you feel in this position. On this side, we are on different side. It may feel slightly different. Maybe this side feels better than the other. Maybe you don't need the block on this side. Maybe the hips feel a little tighter than on the other side. All of these observations are true and valid. And it's okay to feel that way. We are just observing how our bodies feel in these positions. Inhale. Exhale. Take a couple more breaths here. Keep the spine tall. As we relax a little more into each pose, you'll notice how the shoulders may start to slump. Just gently lift the chest and keep the shoulders down. One more breath. Inhale and exhale. And then slowly release the arms, release the block and the legs. So I'm going to take both of my blocks and put them at the top of the mat for our next pose. So we're going to come onto hands and knees first to start. And walk your hands over towards the left side of your mat. And then step your right foot forward. And then you're going to come on up as you stand on that left knee. And then sink the hips forward, and the blocks are just for support. So if you want to bring the hands down to the mat, you can. For me, I have a little bit more in front, so I'm going to keep my blocks here just to give me some room. So I can still lean forward in this is called dragon pose, or you may think of it as more of a lunge or a lizard pose. And we're going to hold here for 2 minutes. Again, noticing that you'll feel the stretch in the quad and in the hip here. You'll feel a little bit of sensation. And you may want to think about stacking the knee over the ankle. And you can go past, that's okay. Keeping the spine straight and tall as you look forward. Maybe you look at something in front of you as the focal point to focus on. Inhale. And exhale. Take a couple more breaths. And you can always lift up if the stretch is a little bit too much in the moment. Again, always listening to your body. Let's take one more full breath here. Inhale. And exhale. And then start to straighten that leg, the front leg. Maybe you draw the toes up, walk the blocks back, or walk your hands back as you come and sit back on the heel. Starting to feel the calf and the hamstring here. Inhale. And exhale. And that's just a counter pose, so we're not staying there for long. So coming back forward, bring your blocks forward. And then we're going to bring the right knee back down. Walk the hands to the right side of the mat. Step the left foot forward this time. Again, you can frame your leg with your hands. And I'm just going to grab my blocks. And then sink the hips forward. Again, maybe you stack that knee over the ankle. I'm starting to feel that right quad stretch a little bit, feeling sensation in the left hip. Looking up, inhale fully, and exhale completely. Again, if you need to lift up for a second, you can. And then going right back into it. Continuing the breath. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Couple more breaths. Take one more breath. And then start to straighten that left leg. Walk the blocks back and bring the hip down and lift the toes. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And then coming back up. Putting the blocks out to the side, bringing that left knee in. And we're just going to end in a child's pose. Bringing the knees out wide, bringing the big toes to touch. Bring the hips back towards the heels and reach the arms forward. And then you can bring the head down to the mat. And inhale fully. Exhale completely. Allow yourself to fully rest here. And then slowly starting to lift back up to your table. And we're going to come and sit back in our easy pose, easy seated pose. And we'll end with our 5 breaths here, inhaling through the nose, exhaling out of the mouth. So let's inhale. Open the mouth and exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One last time. Inhale. And exhale. Thank you so much for joining me today for our 20-minute Yin Yoga practice, and I hope to see you all soon in my next video.